about the pandemic influenza, a virus that has been with us from time immemorial. In fact, to be specific, from the 15th century. Today, I want to talk to us about the pandemic influenza, the past, the present, and the future. Once again, I introduce myself. I'm Professor Festus Adu of the World of Viruses YouTube channel. I hope you have been enjoying my channel. It has been, like I said, pandemic influenza has been in force since 1850. The first pandemic was recorded in 1850, but the one that's actually the mother of all pandemics is the one that is referred to as the Spanish flu, which was around 1918. Unfortunately, that same virus has remained with us till present. In fact, this virus has caused more death than all the world wars. World War I, II, the Korean War, and in the Vietnam War is caused by the influenza A virus. This pandemic is caused by the influenza A virus. What are the structure of this influenza A virus? What are the things that are actually responsible for the genetic changes? Well, you notice here, there are two outside appendages of the virus. The HA, which is referred to as the hemagglutinin, and the neuraminidase, and of course, the internal antigen. These are the things that is responsible for the genetic changes we see year in, year out. And that is what is responsible for the pandemic and for the seasonal epidemics we see. There are two changes that take place there, the minor changes, the antigenic, the minor changes, and the major changes. The minor changes is actually referred to antigenic drift, which is a minor change in the basis, whereas the antigenic shift is the major change that is involved in the genome as a result of reassortment and recombination. This is what that gives rise to the major change in both the HA, the hemagglutinin, and the neuraminidase of the virus. Like I said, you see those things jumping into the picture on the left. There are 16 hemagglutination types. Please note this: 16 hemagglutination types and 9 neuraminidase type. That is why we get the nomenclature H1, H2, H1, H5, and so on and so forth, because there are 16 hemagglutinin types and 9 neuraminidase type, and of course the single-stranded negative RNA strand, which is usually of between 7 to 8 segments. These are the things that are responsible for the appearance of variants, for the changes we see year in, year out, and they are responsible for the different antigenic changes, the variants we see. These changes in these viruses, changes in this external and internal antigen is the one that gives rise to cross-species transmission. Virus can be kept, as a result of these changes, viruses are kept in circulation and it's unlikely to be eradicated. You can see it here. This picture is so well explanatory because an animal like a pig and human being can contain both of these genes, and the same can be circulating in the same animal all at the same time. That is why we have cross-species transmission of this virus. Let's look at the past. Let's look at the past. These are the past epidemics, past pandemics across nation pandemics. The one in 1918, which I refer to as the mother of all pandemics, and is followed in 1957 by the H2N2. By this time, you know what I mean by H2N2, because the hemagglutinin and the neuraminidase, they continue to change, they continue to mutate as a result of those major and minor changes which I told us earlier. In fact, right now, there's a H5N1, which is a current pandemic threat. And I know we're even having it here in the US right now. We are having it in the US right now. So these are the past pandemics, influenza pandemic that we have seen before. 1918, let me spend some time to describe the 1918 1918 pandemic, the Spanish flu, and what havoc it did all over the world. In fact, at that time, it was referred to as a microscopic killer because they could not see it. They could not isolate the virus. They could not see it because we cannot see viruses with our naked eyes. So this virus, during this pandemic, it came with the form of 21 million across the whole world. It was a major pandemic, Spanish flu. Came within 4 months, 21 million people were dead across the nation, across the whole world. This virus acquired notoriety as it crosses from one country to the other, giving different forms. In fact, the most vulnerable part of our body that was deadly damaged was the lungs. It damaged the lungs, and which is most of the time leading to death. The second and third wave in the United States of America, it was in 1918. This one was really more serious. That was the second wave, although even to be frank, the pandemic actually started in the U.S., somewhere in the Midwest or Kansas. It was not really sure, but it actually started in the U.S. and disappeared. The second wave came also that 1918. All civilians were not immune. By this time, you know why civilians were not immune? Because a new variant has occurred. The virus has changed. And so the one that caused the initial pandemic has disappeared. And a new one has now occurred, to which the general population had no immune response. So therefore, what we see some villages were even wiped out in Alaska. Some villages were wiped out. New York City buried 33,000 victims. In that same year, New York City buried 33 victims. Philadelphia lost nearly 13,000 people in a matter of weeks. In fact, cities ran out of coffin because they could not even contain the whole. What is the present? I told us what I'm talking about, influenza pandemic. Past, present, and the future. What we see now, we thank science, advancement in technology, medical research, drug and pharmaceutical development have reduced pandemic to seasonal influenza. What we see at the present, seasonal influenza, although there is still some threat of pandemic, but I know scientists are not resting. We virologists are not resting. So what am I saying? Every year, the world catches a new influenza virus. But this to say, you know why? We know why there are new variants, because of those changes which I just told us earlier, because of the changes in the HA and the NA and the new variants and the internal genome of those 8 segments. Many people become infected and may even die, especially the young one and the elderly. The seniors are more vulnerable. As of today, outbreak of H5N1 is of pandemic threat. I've said that already. In fact, the whole world is rallying around this virus now to see that it is contained, that it does not go beyond where it is right now. But it is a threat. And I know the government, everybody is working to contain this virus. So like I told us, advancement in technology, medical research, drug and pharmaceutical development have reduced pandemic to seasonal influenza. Still on the present, the influenza virus changes constantly, causing only minor changes. Fortunately, pharmaceutical companies are able to counteract each year's strain with the proper flu vaccine. Vaccine is not always matching. Please, I want us to know this. Because of the constant changes and the prediction of the next virus is very difficult. Often it's very, very difficult to predict the actual seasonal influenza that will be circulating for that year. So therefore, vaccine does not always match. Vaccine does not always match current outbreak. Like we saw in fact, this is a very good history. Like we saw in 2018, when the COVID-19 became a political issue. I remember in 1997, 1998, influenza also became a political issue. It was a year of presidential election. And I know one of the presidential aspirants lost as a result, lost that election as a result of the wrong prediction of the vaccine for that year. Many elderly people died. Many elderly people died because the vaccine that was produced was not matching the circulating virus. That I was a witness myself, that led to the loss of one of the presidential candidates. Just as COVID-19 became a political issue in 2018. So you can know how important these viruses are. I'm sure our scientists are working day and night. So still on the present, what is the present treatment and control? Yes, pharmaceutical companies have developed very good antiviral drugs. There are good antiviral drugs against influenza. The Tamiflu, which is the trade name, and the Sanavir, Relenza, you can find it in any pharmacy. And then rheumatoid is also there. Infection control is a bit difficult. It's a bit difficult because of the quarantine. It's not very effective because the virus travels faster and a bit at times difficult to control by quarantine and hygiene alone. But fortunately, we have good vaccine. We have good vaccine which can either be the inactivated vaccine or kill vaccine, or the live vaccine, which is usually in form of nasal spray. They control the virus very well. So it's advisable. Either you have had influenza or you don't have influenza, it's advisable to continue to get this vaccine because we cannot predict the variant that will be circulating. But either the correct variant or not the correct vaccine, taking the vaccine ameliorate the signs and symptoms of the disease. So how do we apply this vaccine? It's indicated for the elderly. It's indicated for the elderly, indicated in healthy people, especially the flu shot, the inactivated vaccine. Is indicated in healthy people and chronic medical condition patients, 6 months of age and older. Whereas the live attenuated, this is live. It's a live vaccine. It contains the live virus. So it's indicated in healthy people, 2 to 48 years of age, but not indicated for non-pregnant women because of the live. It's a live vaccine. What of the future? As I'm coming to the end of this one, can influenza A virus be eradicated? That is the question we should be asking ourselves. Probably no. Probably no, because of the continuous antigenic shift and antigenic drift, which is giving rise to the new variants we see every year. And another important fact we should know here is because of the multi-species. Incidentally, I omitted that slide. Because of the multi-species transmission, birds, wild animals, birds, human beings can harbor the same virus circulating the same virus circulating in the same host, all at the same time together. So this makes eradication very difficult. But that's what I'm just saying, a multi-species nature of the infection, man, wild animal, and birds. Production of vaccine difficult due to changes. The production of vaccine is a bit difficult due to changes in the HA and the NA and the RNA. I just told us about the political issue, how it generated some political issue, and all these factors make pandemic influenza a bit difficult to eradicate. Seasonal vaccines gets produced. This is what I just told us earlier. Seasonal vaccines are gets produced from epidemiological data from past outbreak. But there's hope. There's hope for the future. In Lama, I know some of you are familiar with this animal. A lot of work is going on this animal now, how it can come to the help of scientists to produce vaccine. Scientists may have found the key ingredients for a universal flu vaccine, and it comes from Ilama, this animal. This is the picture you are seeing on the left. Ilamas make an array. How do they do? How is Ilama proving to be useful? Because they make an array of immune system antibodies, which are so tiny, they can fit into the crevices of the surface of an invading virus. This is what scientists are looking at. This is what scientists are looking at, how this animal is going to be useful. That fit could one day protect humans from the entire families of flu viruses because they can contain a lot. They can contain a lot. They have crevices in their organ that can contain all the invading virus. What do I mean? They can contain both the A16 and the N89 and all. They can contain it in their body. So, and once you can get an animal that can contain that, what this one is telling us is that we can produce a universal vaccine. That's why I'm asking that contains all the family group of the influenza virus. That's what I'm saying. It's a universal vaccine possible. If this test goes through, it may be possible. It may really be very, very possible. With a 1 year puff on the nose in a study in the study in the Journal of Science. This is where I'm quoting this way. This is where I'm quoting there's a group that is working on this. A team from the Scripps Research Institute in La Jolla, somewhere in California, and their international colleagues have taken a major step toward the long-sought goal of developing a universal vaccine. And one day, since science is not resting, one day we may get there. One day we may get there, and if we're able to get there, we'll not be talking about pandemic influenza anymore. We'll not be talking about the new variants. We'll not be talking of seasonal vaccine. All you just need for this universal vaccine, just make sure you get this universal vaccine. Whichever of the age, whichever of the end is infecting you, your body has already having the antibody against that. I hope you have enjoyed my lecture. I want to please subscribe. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. I am back in full force. Subscribe, share, and like, please. I want to hear your comments. Please subscribe. Please subscribe. I expect to see you in the next slide.